Why do you think these guys didn't work well together? I mean, Meltzer was saying there's a lot of missed spots and they just didn't work well together. And I know sometimes guys just don't have chemistry. I'm wondering if you think their philosophical approach to wrestling was different. I ask because we know Mike Awesome spent a lot of time and really came to fame in Japan. And then he had great success in ECW. But that means you're going to be painting outside the lines a little bit. There can be brawling in the crowd. The rules are different. You're looking for violence and high spots and that sort of thing. And DDP had a reputation, for better or worse, as being one of the first performers who sort of mapped out the entire match. And I know he received a lot of criticism for that, but one of the most highly regarded matches in wrestling history was WrestleMania 3 with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and the Macho Man Randy Savage. And according to Ricky Steamboat, Savage had written it all out, beat for beat, the entire match. So when it's done well, man, it's unbelievable. But I'm wondering, do you think that had anything to do with it? Was there a philosophical difference in their approach to the business, or am I overthinking it?
Well, I'm going to push back on you a little bit, pal, kind of like you did over the weekend. I'm going to push back on that. We're taking it as fact that they didn't have good chemistry.
Well, no, we're watching the match, and Dave's opinion was they didn't work well together. And if you're watching, it does seem like there's a few things that
there was a missed spots right there.
Yes, and you're going to see more of them, is what I'm saying. And I know some of that is just reps. I mean, I'm not a wrestler, but I would imagine, like, if you're working the towns and working all the house shows, by the time fans see it on TV, you guys have it figured out, I would guess. And you could say, hey, let's start like we did in Cincinnati, but finish like we did in Des Moines. And the guy know what that is because you've done it together so many times. You don't have to have a verbal conversation. You just kind of know, hey, here's what we do next. But in this case, where they haven't wrestled a bunch, maybe that's different. What say you?
My gut tells me, and watching and everything, you've got Russo, who will tell you he's not an agent producer. He wants his story involved in this match. DDP wants to do move per move. Awesome. Like you said, his training, I'll say Japan, big spots, big moves, big high impact. So at the end of the day, who was their agent? Who was their producer? Who was their quote unquote referee in the back who got to kind of say, hey, man, let's jive this over? Also, we have no idea. Did they have 30 minutes to go over their match? 2 hours to go over their match? Did something get changed? Did their time get cut? There's so many variables and factors, and where was there distraction? Was DDP having to go over an in-ring, or did that pre-tape or that live shot with Ric Flair take a lot longer than it was expected? Mike Awesome was alongside me and Bischoff and others 3 times in the first 30 minutes. So many factors that go into it. My gut tells me they tried to do too much. That one little missed spot. Do 265 guys really need to be doing a tilt-a-whirl Hurricane Rana? Probably not. Was the match bad because lack of effort? Not at all.
No.
They tried to do too much, is my professional opinion.
This is only the second time they've wrestled. They did it in April, so maybe 3 weeks prior to this, but they only went 2 minutes and 39 seconds in that one.
This is their second matchup ever.
Yes, and this is a stretcher match. They're going to follow up with a mixed tag, and then they'll pay it off at a pay-per-view with an ambulance match in Baltimore at Great American Bash.
Well, there's the story. They hadn't worked together enough.
Scott Hudson is going to observe when Bischoff takes Page's hand and signs the divorce papers. In real life, Scott Hudson works in the criminal justice branch of the Georgia government. And he says on commentary something like, I don't think that'll hold up in court since there's videotape proof of the nature of him signing the papers. And anytime we sprinkle a little bit of real life in a show, it makes me chuckle.
I love Scott Hudson.
He went in the Georgia Wrestling Hall of Fame in the last year. So shout out to Scott, man. I wish he would.
My man, one of my favorites, early TNA. You talk about being a glue. He was there. He did backstage promos. He's a kind of a tall guy. And we used to laugh and cut up. I'd say, Scott, spread your legs. I know that sounds wrong, but getting his legs wide makes him a little bit shorter on camera because didn't need him to be the tallest guy in the live shot.
We're going to see your boy, Scott Steiner, come out and do an interview. And boy, it is an interview for the ages.
Okay.
I know we're not listening to the audio here, but I encourage everyone, when we get to that point, just pause our podcast for a minute and listen to Scott Steiner, because goodness gracious.
There's signing of the contract. That looks legal.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Hey, let's make a note to make sure Big Pappy's interview gets on our socials.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. We'll definitely make sure. Yeah, that's a great call. Go check out on Twitter at MyWorldPod.
Or YouTube.
It won't be on YouTube.
Okay. Got rules. You're right.
Man, Kimberly here. That damn Diamond Dallas Page, he's a natural born salesman. Would you agree?
Hell yeah. If he can sell DDP and Kimberly, I guess so. No, I'm kidding. I do DDP every morning, but yes.
Do you really?
Every morning.
Take us through your DDP routine. DDP
I do the and I BS. I didn't. I just kind of did it sporadically, a little bit here and a little bit there. But I was looking for something that literally my alarm goes off and I have the yoga pad. It's already out. It's there, and it's the wake up. It's a 14-minute. Literally, the track or the workout is called Wake Up, and it's a 14-minute deal that I do every morning. Roll out of bed and have done it. Even on the road when we have 5:30 a.m. flights, Karen will know that when my alarm goes off, she's got a few minutes before she's got to stir because I'm up doing my DDPY yoga. It's great. During the pandemic, when we couldn't go to the gyms, I did all kinds of hour workouts and 45-minute workouts, and it's really, really good because it builds strength, but also flexibility.
How would you describe the shirt that Scott Steiner's wearing here?
That is a muscled up Chippendales straight off the Hot Topic rack. How would you say it? And what's around Russo's neck? That watch earlier, was that another storyline?
That's Flair's. They took Flair's watch off him.
That's right.
And you're about to call Mean Gene here geriatric slap ass.
Oh man!
And he's going to tell you to blow it out and then cut the audio. And then you told him something like, "Don't piss me off" or whatever. There you are though, with your guitar and the big gold belt wrapped around your waist.
Look at that slapnut guitar, shiny silver. That bad boy cost about $600-700. Straight out of Hollywood. Straight out of Hollywood, that guitar is.
Your favorite color guitars, are those the silver ones, the black ones, the red ones? You've had them in every color.
I have now the red ones. Really pop on TV. I do like the red and black. Silver and black's pretty cool.
What's the rule of thumb for the proper amount of baby powder?
Well, Mexico, I believe they get turned up to a high degree. It's like anything else in life. You got to have a balance. Too much is too much. But yeah, just enough to have a little bit of an effect. Sometimes you don't use it at all because there's enough sawdust around it.